Good morning, Flosstube. I'm Tanya the Starlit Stitcher. Welcome to my channel where I talk about my cross stitch. First of all, I have an announcement today to make. On my first video, I received a comment back from a viewer named Chris that I should consider starting up an Instagram so that more people could see my stuff and follow and all that kinds of fun stuff. And I thought that was a good idea too. And so I went ahead and I did that this week. So my Instagram handle is the Starlit Stitcher, same as it is here on YouTube. That should make it pretty easy to follow me, I think, if you're interested in doing that. And so yeah, I'm figuring out all that. I've never used Instagram before, so I thought Etsy was dangerous. Instagram, let's just say I may or may not have added a lot more things on my wish list since starting up my Instagram. Okay, and secondly, you'll see that I'm filming in a different part of our camper today, so that means my little tabby kitten will not be attacking my stuff today while I'm trying to film. But that also means that I'm out here with the dogs in the main part of the camper, so hopefully they don't get the zoomies and do stuff like knock my tripod over. We'll see how it goes. First off, a fully finish. I finished my little daughter's tooth fairy pillow, and this is how that went. I washed it and ironed it so you don't see the blue grids anymore. And let me show you the backing fabric. Isn't that cute? I found this fabric on clearance at 123 Stitch probably like 6 or 7 months ago. Had no idea what I was going to use it for, but I thought it was cute and bought it anyways. It was like $4.50 for a yard cut. I was like, click, add to cart. And then I have no idea if I made this pocket properly, but it looks okay, I guess, for my first time doing that. And the pocket is pretty tight, so it'll hold the tooth in there and whatever money the tooth fairy decides to put in there. And there's no seams in there, because like I folded this like a few times. I don't remember how exactly that I did it, but I didn't want for the, you know, where you sew it and then turn it inside out, those seam edges are in there. I didn't want that, so I did all kinds of like weird folding, and that's how it turned out. Maybe not perfect, but she loves it. As far as doing the whole thing around and stuffing it and all that, because I've never done polyfill before, I decided to stuff it in at the bottom. It took me like 2 hours to stuff this thing, because the things that I had heard about when you're polyfilling, using the polyfill stuffing, is you want to use tiny little pieces, because if you just take one hunk and shove it in there, your thing will be all lumpy and stuff, and you won't be able to make it look nice. So I didn't know what a little bit at a time was. I was just like, I'm like, I don't know, maybe I did it wrong, but anyhow, that's done. She loves it. Mom wins. So yeah. Okay, so what I worked on this week. Here is how Unicorn Poop for Sale is going. I put in all of this yellow on Saturday. I decided to make Saturday my Heaven and Earth Designs Day for Unicorn Poop for Sale, because Saturdays are the day that I have the most uninterrupted time available to sit down and work on something like this. Which right now, the uninterrupted time doesn't matter all that much because I'm doing a lot of solid color stitching right now, but it will make a huge difference when I get into what I was talking about last week with the confetti areas and stuff. The longer block of time that you have, maybe it's a psychological thing for me, but you make more progress with less interruptions. So yeah, there we go. That's where we're at. And for those who have not seen the design, this is what it will look like when it's done. So we still have a long way to go, but for only 2.5 days of stitching on this, that's okay, I think. So let's move that. How's it up? Things are not going to want to go back in the way they were originally. Isn't that the story of our life? Okay, and I'm going to grab American Deer real quick, because that got another decent chunk in there this week too. So here we are. I've got almost all of this second antler done. And so not very much left to go over here. So I'm very pleased with that. So I think I did like, you know, all in here and then all of this up here in around this curve is new also. So that's the whole thing there. Oh, Halloween Quaker. This is how that is looking this week. What's new is I finished this big one up here in the corner. That's the biggest motif in the entire design, I think. I did this one here, this little one here, the hat, this little one here, and then last, which I finished up this morning, is this one down here. So I've got some pretty good progress going on here. I did make a mistake in the witch hat. I'm going to make it closer. And of course, by the time I figured it out, I'm going to use a little pointy here. Right there. So everything, so I was nearly done and wondering how come this wasn't lining up in here with the other stuff. And I had made the mistake way up in here. I decided I didn't want to pick all that out because by the time this design's done, you're probably not going to notice it anyways. It doesn't look wrong, really, looking at it by itself. So I decided to just leave it and just keep in mind not to count off of this, to count off of other things so that everything else around it will still end up in the same place. So that's how we're doing that. And the Curious Mermaid. Not a whole lot of progress on her this week. I kind of feel like I should have more done on her than what I do at this point. But also at the same time, it kind of seems like every time that I, you know, the days that I decide to work on her, those are the days that I end up being interrupted a lot. Like I gotta deal with homework stuff, or I'm drinking a lot because dehydration is a thing, even when it's like 15 degrees outside, which thank God, you know, it's not that anymore this week. We're warming up a little more, but that's what it was last week. And yeah, I don't know. I have decided, you know what, it's just kind of a bonus project because it wasn't on the list for this year anyway, so just kind of accept that that's the way that those days went, and eventually it will get done. Oh, I forgot to prep this for you. I am so bad. Okay, let me do that real quick. Forgot to take this out of the Q-snap for you. Sorry. This is Gather Here by Hello from Liz Mathews, and this is how that is going. This is going really well, I think. I'm very happy with the progress on this one. This got 2 days of stitching on it this week. And I think I will be able to get this done and probably another 2 days of stitching and I'll have a finish on this. So we'll see how that goes this week, and maybe I'll have a fully finished item to show you next week. We will see. Okay, now since I am anticipating a finish on that one, I started up another one. Yes, I did. This is a small start on Long May She Wave by Stitching with the Housewives, and that's what I've got on that. And I think that is everything that I did this week. A little bit of progress on everything. Some more than others. And yeah. Nothing too much exciting for news. We're still waiting on paperwork processing on the house. We emailed them again today, trying to get a hold of people. We're going to do some more calls on lunch breaks and things like that, because when we signed those papers, they said it would be like a week to process, and here we are 2.5 weeks later, and yeah, that's kind of been the way that it's been this whole entire process. When we first got here to Northwest Arkansas, that's been a year ago now. And from start to finish, we were supposed to have been in our house in like 3 to 5 months after we got here. We've been here a year and still don't have the house. So many stories about that, so many stories. But I'm going to try and keep this video short today before like I said, the dogs get the zoomies, my tripod falls over, or something else happens. There's a view of my rack in use, because I don't know if you guys have seen that since I filled it up. But thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next week with some more updates. Thank you. Bye-bye.